Hello and welcome to all. I welcome you all to this another episode of Elets Innovation Talks, which is a premier platform in which we invite the top leaders all across healthcare to join us for a one-on-one exclusive discussion. And today we have yet another eminent leader with us today, Mr. Pavan Choudary, who is a renowned thought leader, corporate strategist, and keynote speaker known for his deep insights on ethical leadership, strategic communication, and marketing. Currently, he's serving as the chairman of the Medical Technology Association of India, MTaI, and Blue Circle. He also advises institutions like the Rajiv Gandhi Cancer Institute, a former MD and CEO of Wagon India, with prior leadership roles at Dabur and Zydus Cadila. Mr. Pavan has authored acclaimed works including How a Good Person Can Really Win, The RX Factor, and so much more. His thought provoking TV show, Hum Aise Kyun Hain, and video series, The Deep Slice, reflects his commitment to societal reform and leadership development. Recognized with prestigious honors like the Intellectual Icon of the Year and the Eric Hoffer Award, Mr. Pavan is a sought after speaker at institutions such as IIMs, LBSNAA, and the international forums as well. So, sir, thank you so much for joining us to this exclusive platform, the Elets Innovation Talks. We are very glad to have this conversation with you today. Welcome.
I'm equally glad to be here, Asawari. Thank you for having me.
So let us deep dive into some of the questions that we are very curious to know from you. Starting from you have authored so many amazing books, and me being a reader, avid reader myself, would like to know more into those. So in your book, the RX Factor, you emphasize marketing peace over marketing warfare. Can you share, a little more detail into both of these philosophies and share some brief on guiding the, B2B MedTech firms and the B2B MedTech industry audience that are also watching us today to navigate the crowded and price-sensitive markets such as India?
Great. So, marketing warfare, is the philosophy that to have more, you have to grab it from somebody else. And marketing peace is a concept which I pioneered in 1996. This was well before the Blue Ocean strategy, etc., came, where I say that the markets are not saturated. Our minds are saturated with the thought that all marketing is war. So, in fact, two of the examples which I took was from the area of medical devices. One was about Band-Aid, Handyplast. Handyplast is a adhesive bandage which was promoting itself like this, showing it as a medal for the child's bravery, not saying that my band-aid or self-adhesive protective strip is better than the other one, but saying that बहादुर बच्चों की पहचान, Handyplast. Because children will often paste a Handyplast even when it is not required, even when there's just a scratch, just to show how brave they are. So rather than stealing market from Band-Aid, they were expanding the market. This was an example of marketing peace. Another medical device was stay-free sanitary napkins, where I have shown in that book a storyboard of an ad where an elder sister is telling her younger sister or elder woman is telling a younger counterpart at the time of the marriage that you take these stay free napkins because अब नहीं चलेगा वो धोना सुखोना बनाना. Or then she's saying that because you're going to a new home, let people know that you are not in the dhona sukhona banana space, but you use modern sanitary napkins. And then she ends by saying, आखिर उनको भी तो पता चले कि हम भी modern हैं. That means she is exhorting the status instinct, which is very strong in India, and saying that leave aside this dhona sukhona banana, which was the earlier way of handling periods with the help of cloth, which was used and then dried and then reused. She's asking, exhorting the young woman to start using stay-free sanitary napkins. Again, not telling that I am better than Comfort or I'm better than something else. No, expanding the market, looking at what all you can do. So, because your audience is B2B, I should also give you an example of a B2B product, which this is what we did in Vigon, India, when I was heading it. We understood that filters which are used along with IV lines are considered expensive. And these IV lines often carry expensive antibiotics to treat the infections. But adding a filter to it was considered expensive. So we, rather than saying that use the filter and then you don't have to use the antibiotic that much, etc., we said that antibiotics themselves carry impurities, particulate impurity, which can hurt the patient, can even cause RDS, respiratory distress syndrome, etc. And we raise the indication and sensitize the doctors to these problems, which is why very expensive antibiotics should also incur, to be fully effective, the additional expense of this small filter. So again, we did not go against any other device or against any other drug, but brought a thought in the doctor's mind that yes, my antibiotics can also cause harm. So let me make them fully safe for the patient. Again, example of marketing piece.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing. It is such a delight to hear from you and all the expertise that you are sharing with us today. When we are talking about leadership and strategic thinking, you have written extensively on those as well. And when we talk about ethical edge in business leadership, how do you see these values playing a role in transforming India's healthcare system for leaders or fellow budding leaders that are watching this show? Your advices on the same, and particularly leadership and ethical edge in public private collaborations.
So India as a society is not considered to be a very honest society, and it isn't. Indian business ecosystem also has a lot of moral gray, and the need for greater cleanliness in operations has been long standing, and budding leaders should understand that whatever generations have passed have had some people within those generations asking for greater probity in business and public life. You should add to their voices, because unless you do that, your country will not be seen as as the most dependable market. So this is a very important thing, public-private interface also. In public-private interface also, you should aim to be a zero bribe company. And the promoters of the company, we are speaking to professionals plus promoters, promoters of the company also should give a free hand to the leader of the company, the CEO of the company, to stay that way. And promoters do. I have worked with several companies. I have had a completely clear understanding that I will not do anything wrong. And I will still give you huge profits, huge growth. And the moment you ask me to do anything wrong, I go. And fortunately, only in one company I had to resign on a moral issue, which I felt was happening. In every other company, every promoter was only happy with the growth in profits and in sales which I could bring around. So it is possible to be in a country like India, where a lot of the government space is corrupt, or let me say morally ambiguous. And it is our duty to clean up the system. At least, I believe in this space, माना कि अंधेरा है घना, किसने कहा दिया जलाना है मना. That means we do accept that the darkness is deep and all pervasive. But who has told you that you cannot even light up a lamp? You should light your lamp. When the recent dispensation of government came 11 years back, there was a lot of hope that greater cleanliness will prevail in the Indian business and Indian government system. However, that has not happened. And it is our duty to understand that it is a very Herculean task even for the government to clean up its system. But we should also support it, not promote shortcuts, etc.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing. Now, moving on to the topic of India and foreign relations around medical devices, medical trade, and healthcare tie-ups. With the recent, India-UK free trade agreement, in which our Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi and UK's Prime Minister Shri Keir Starmer has successfully concluded the negotiations for the landmark agreement to double bilateral trade and in goods and services from 60 billion to 120 billion by 2030. We are very curious to know what MTaI and what your perspectives are on this, your thoughts on the same, and also what do you think about this going further?
So, first of all, I feel that the WTO and the GATT and the TRIPS arrangements were arrived at after great deliberation, and it was a system which started working very, very smoothly. However, it is also true that the rules of the world favor the mighty, because the mighty make the rules. So these rules of Bretton Woods, etc., were made by the mighty people, mighty powers like US, Europe, etc. They were also made because the governments realized that war and attrition and conflict is very painful. So it is important that we have a rules based order, because you'd gone through the World War II, World War One, etc., so much conflict. It was also made because it kind of balanced the atrocities and the exploitation which happened of the colonized countries. So the rules were made which were more favorable to the victims, or let me say, at least gave the chance to the victims to rise up. But by 2000, the victims started becoming stronger. Whether it was China or India, etc., they started becoming stronger economically. And the powers that brought in these rules wanted a change in these rules. With the coming in of Donald Trump, the demand for change came in as a huge storm. So now the new rules are being written. It is very important for India also to be among the rule writers. And thanks to our leadership, thanks to Mr. Modi and his team, we have huge agency. And we should be one of the rule writers. The FTAs are saying you write your own rules separately. This will surely need a lot of work, which the government is doing. This will surely need a lot of foresight, which the government has. And I hope with the new rules, because India is also one of the authors of the rules, we will have an even better journey than we have had during the earlier rules-based order. Of course, we will be stopped. Even today, if you see, the US is trying to hyphenate India and Pakistan, not which is in my view unfair. But by hyphenating India and Pakistan, it silences one strong economy or tries to mute it by making it seem a more irresponsible, more temperamental, etc. But this hyphenation will not happen. And I stand with my government, which deserves, for its wisdom, for its foresight, a much better place than Pakistan. And in my own small way, in the same way, माना कि अंधेरा है घना किसने कहा अपना दिया जलाना है मना. I will light up a lamp in there, in that support. And I'm doing it with you and your program.
Sir, and we are so glad to have your thoughts and insights on the same. So we discussed about the recently concluded UK-India free trade agreement. On the same note, we would also want to know your thoughts on the tariff talks and the industry impact with India and US currently, which is negotiating the rollback on tariffs on medical device. What do you foresee the potential outcomes for the same? And how might they impact the innovation access and investment in the Indian MedTech sector, according to you?
So, US is the biggest investor in MedTech in India. That means the maximum amount of FDI comes from US. It comes in manufacturing also. It comes in back office and R&D and training, etc. also. So if you look at the FDI in MedTech, which has been climbing, you will see that sometimes 40% of the FDI in a particular year might be coming just from US, or maybe more sometimes, or one company. One of our member companies, Medtronic, brought in $350 million for their Hyderabad R&D setup, and the total FDI usually is south of $1 billion. We have not crossed the $1 billion mark yet. So US has a strong contribution. How it will impact innovation, access, and investment. So innovation, though the Indian MedTech market is only 1.5% of the total global market, the Indian R&D MedTech spend is nearly 6% of the total global spend. So a strong impetus on R&D is already there. We are as big as, let me say, China or Germany in terms of size of investment in R&D from global players, and 4 times the size of our market. So this will grow. It will also grow because of the fact that AI, IoT, big data, etc. are very strongly developing in India also. So there will be good support from the engineering enterprise of India in these spaces. And these technologies are operating at the cutting edge of medical device innovation. The access, you said, naturally, if custom duties go down, the access to products improves. And we hope that the custom duties will go down. And investment in India MedTech sector, I already told you that US is a big contributor. And I'm sure this good FTA between the two countries will make FDI grow.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing. We also have around, with India more and more actively working towards making India made by India concept, as well as, aligning with the ongoing Atmanirbhar Bharat ambitions. How we had multiple questions for MTaI, that how our organizations such as MTaI and similar are working with Indian government to create an environment that encourages both innovation and ease of doing business. So we would like to have your rounded answer on regarding the same. How can similar organizations work with the government to promote medical devices industry, so that not just the import and export but the manufacturing of such brilliant devices are also happening within India itself and getting exported to all across the world? So we would like to know your thoughts on this.
So in this space, ease of doing business, we keep on asking the government for predictable regulations, consistent policies, harmonization of standards, so that we play on the same turf as the global medtech marketplace. This will help us in exports also. So this is one generic area that we work on, and we have a research and policy wing. We come out with our own research and present it to the government. And let me say, the government is a very is a very agile government, and it ensures that the growth of the sector happens or utilizes both the domestic and the international current. And it knows that nearly 80% of the products which are used in India are imported. Surely 80% of the critical care products are imported. And also that our investments in our R&D laboratories, in our manufacturing plants is very substantial. We have 17 large manufacturing plants in the country. These actually become the crucibles of those professionals who tomorrow will work for domestic companies. So, what the international companies are making or promoting today, the domestic companies will make or promote tomorrow, maybe at a lower cost, which is great. So, both the currents the government is utilizing. We are also a part of EPCMD, the Export Promotion Council of Medical Devices, and we contribute with our thought and activities in that space also. And we feel that Indian exports of medical devices, particularly consumables, is growing and has a very bright future. We at the same time also feel that the entire marketing effort should be coordinated and a strong quality control system through uniform globalized standards should be put into effect.
Thank you so much, sir, for sharing that. And of course, the government is working towards, a more unified market, as you shared, with the, many spaces as well being built up for R&D and manufacturing facilities all across North and South of India. But as we come down to the end of the very insightful discussion, and in which we had a lot of perspectives on different areas around medical devices, as the last two questions that we would want to know from you, one being, what is your vision looking ahead for the medical devices, India's medical device industry, in the next, I won't say 5 to 10 years, because we are in the age of AI where everything is, expedited. So in the next 3 to 5 years for the industry, and also your vision for MTaI's role in shaping Indian medical devices, technology, policy, industry growth, and global standing in the MedTech supply chain sector.
So for the industry, my vision is it should be a dual track. Make in India also, and import from friend-shoring countries. What you cannot make at the most economical level or at the highest quality level. So make in India, buy economically for the patient quality products, design in India for the world, export to the whole world, not only your product but also your medical tourism. That means heal in India. So it's design in India, make in India, heal in India, train in India. Our companies train 250,000 healthcare workers every year. That means the whole of the market has been created by us. Because in pharmaceuticals, you can, once you know how to pop a pill or give an injection, all products will come through those routes only. But for medical devices, training is required for every device. So the device starts getting used only after training. So all these four activities, design, make, train, and heal, in India should happen, not only for India but for the world. And from MTaI, we want access of quality products and quality technologies to the common Indian man, and we want to play a role in making that happen, and at the same time making finding a space which is commensurate to our contribution for the medical technologies companies which we represent. This is our broad aim.
Thank you so much, sir. With that, we thank you from the bottom of our hearts to take out your time and your expertise and share with us on this platform with our audience. So, thank you so much for the same. I hope the audience also found this episode very enlightening. If you have any questions for Mr. Pavan or for MTaI, please leave those in the comments down below. We will make sure to get you your answers through him. If you have any more suggestions on the leaders in the healthcare space that you would like to see on this platform, leave those suggestions also in the comments down below. We will make sure to have them at our next episode. With that, we come down to closing this session. Sir, thank you so much for being a part.
Thank you very much, and thank your audience also.
Thank you. With that, we sign off now. Stay happy, stay healthy. Bye-bye.